Just 1 week ago, I bought BioShock Infinite. While playing, I was immediately amazed by the graphics, gameplay, immersive qualities, and the complexity of the main character's sidekick, Elizabeth. But what really stood out to me was the ending. It had me putting a lot of thought into my life, like what it all means, how the world really works, my involvement, etc. A thought-provoking ending like that can really be what sets a game above the rest. Since BioShock Infinite was already a great game without its masterful ending, it ends up establishing itself as one of the best games I've ever played. In this video though, I'd like to talk specifically about the ending. I figured since the Game of the Year awards are coming up, it would be a fitting time to express my opinion. Here I will be telling you why I think the ending of BioShock Infinite alone should give Irrational Games the title of Game of the Year. First I will explain the ending in depth, as it was a little bit confusing, then I will tell you why you should go vote for this immaculate game. I will give you my warning now, spoilers ahead. I beg you to play this game rather than have me explain it to you, it really is amazing. So, without further ado, let's dive into the world of Columbia. I'm going to summarize a bit of the story, but only the parts that are vital for explaining the ending. The player is placed in the perspective of post-American Indian War veteran and former member of the Hardin-Pinkerton Detective Agency, Booker DeWitt. He is deep in debt, but has been offered a deal that is as follows: bring us the girl and wipe away the debt. Keep that in mind because it will show up again in a bit. The girl mentioned in this rather specific deal is Elizabeth, who I brought up earlier. Elizabeth, one should know, is mysteriously able to open tears, or small apertures into other dimensions. In these dimensions, there are some aspects that are constants, and some that are variables. When she opens these tears, it becomes the new reality. Elizabeth has half of her pinky finger missing, and for what reason she has no idea. She is located in Columbia, a city in the sky ruled by the prophet Zachary Comstock. He's a pretty stand-up guy, except for the fact that he instituted elitist brainwashing and racism within his establishment. As a result, Columbia is a ridiculously racist place, where the black and Irish people are harshly discriminated and men like John Wilkes Booth are hailed as heroes. As a result, the oppressed people are kindling a revolution in the background. After being targeted as the false shepherd, the man the prophet saw who will bring destruction to Columbia, and fighting his way through the streets of the city, Booker finds Elizabeth. Another important thing to know is that Booker was recognized because of the AD that is branded on his right hand. From there, the main objective is to leave Columbia. For Booker, it's to New York, where he can relieve his debt by handing over Elizabeth. For Elizabeth, it's to France, where she can get away from it all. This will evolve as the story progresses, but you either know that or should get on with playing the game. The conclusion of the story comes when Elizabeth brings Booker to an infinite, get it, sea of isolated towers. Each one is the opening to a different reality which, as said before, have only slightly different aspects that set one apart from the next. Elizabeth's power enabled her to access these different realities from tears that appeared in their current one. As it turns out, after the Battle of Wounded Knee all those years ago, Booker decided to get baptized and cleanse his sins in one dimension. The baptism turned him into a new man, Zachary Comstock, the same evil man who created Columbia. He wanted a daughter, but was infertile, so he crossed dimensions with one in which Booker did not get baptized. In this dimension, Booker had a child, Anna, but was plagued with alcoholism and gambling. Now it's time to shine some light on the Lutece twins. In reality, they are not actually twins, but the same person from dimensions in which they were the opposite sex. Robert is from the dimension that Booker did not accept the baptism, and Rosalind from the one in which Comstock emerged. As a physicist, Rosalind aided Comstock in creating the technology necessary to build Columbia. With Comstock's funding, Rosalind was able to study the atom and develop tears. Through transdimensional Morse code, the Luteces were able to communicate to each other, helping Comstock retrieve Anna. Robert played the role of the debtor, telling Booker he could wipe away his debt by giving over his daughter, Anna. Booker accepted and handed Anna over, but changed his mind right after. As Comstock was ripping away the baby from Booker to his dimension, it closed and Anna lost her pinky finger. This is when it is revealed to the player that Elizabeth is actually Anna, the daughter of Booker. Once in Comstock's dimension, Anna was able to create tears because she existed in two dimensions, her finger in one, her in the other, at the same time. All the while, Comstock prepared to have her continue in his place as the leader of Columbia. Meanwhile, Booker lived a private hell for 20 years. Within this time, he branded his hand with AD as a type of penance. AD stands for Anna DeWitt. He was then brought from his dimension to Columbia's, where the jump forced him to manufacture new memories from old ones, and he forgot all about Anna, Comstock, and the Luteces. His task then became what it is at the start of the game: find Elizabeth and bring her back to New York. The Luteces decided to help Booker when they became uneasy with what Elizabeth had become. Also, they were almost intentionally killed when Fink sabotaged their machine. Instead, they were given the ability to create tears themselves and freely jump between dimensions. So what does this all mean? In order to end the tyranny of Comstock, Booker and Elizabeth must kill Comstock when he was born. But Comstock was born at the baptism after Wounded Knee, when Booker opted to live without his sins. So when Booker enters the door to the place he was baptized, all is explained to him. He is both Comstock and DeWitt, and his death before accepting baptism is the only way to stop Columbia from existing. Therefore, he gives consent to Elizabeth, who drowns him. All of the Elizabeths disappear afterwards because they die along with Columbia. At the end of the credits, Booker is seen rediscovering Anna in her crib, having not given her away. The amount of sheer depth put into this story is mind-blowing. It's no wonder that this game came out 3 full years after its debut trailer. It would have been so much easier for Irrational Games to just slap on a blockbuster, action-filled ending with a happily ever after in France. People would have been okay with that. The gameplay and companionship of Elizabeth alone would be enough to pull this game up. But to go that extra step, to take years with the story, to do what so many games fail to do, is just so awesome. I seriously cannot compare the story to anything else I've ever seen in a video game. Movies, books, maybe, but never through the medium of video game. BioShock is a pioneer of its time, the metaphorical stone cast into a lake of possibility. If this game is the one making all of the breakthroughs, then why isn't it a shoo-in for the Game of the Year? I believe that this is the game that will set the bar for the future, and it should be recognized for doing so. Please, advocate the importance of good storytelling. Play the game, tell your friends, vote for it as Game of the Year. I want everyone to be able to experience the beauty that is Columbia, and delve deep into the captivating lives of Comstock, Elizabeth, Lutece, and Booker DeWitt. Thanks for watching.